Ah! It is I, Woken Brad, and hello there, motherfuckers. Okay, we all know this was just a one-note show, so let's get through all the other shit. We started off with Roman and Jason Jordan challenging him to an Intercontinental title match. Roman says that he wants Joe. Joe comes out and tells Jordan that you're not up for the challenge. Jordan ends up suplexing um, Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns gets up and says he wants to face Jordan. Now, this was a pretty well done segment. We saw how Roman improves on the mic. All the fucking jobbers in the YWC are, the two of the worst talkers. Jordan is not a bad talker. They need to do something with his character, but he's by no means bad. And Roman here proved that he could talk on the mic. Roman Reigns and Jordan then had their match, and it was a pretty good match. I mean, the thing is, when was the last time Roman Reigns had a bad match? Can anybody tell me that? Oh, he's such a bad wrestler, but almost every single match he has is grade A, like the match against Elias, for example. After the match, Joe attacks Roman, but Jordan saves him. And then Roman, still not forgetting about the suplex. Superman punches Jordan. Not a bad, way to open the show, actually. Definitely an improvement. We got to see some mic skills. Pretty decent opener. Then backstage, Kurt Angle was arguing with Jason Jordan. He wanted Joe. He also wanted an Intercontinental title match. Samoa Joe burst in there and he just attacks Jason Jordan. Then we got Paige and Cruella DeVille and Mandy Moore coming out. Paige defeated Sasha with the PTO. What happened to Sasha, guys? Remember when she used to be one of the top women's wrestlers, and every single night, every single pay-per-view, every single minute on the show, it was, Sasha, Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte, and now she's just a jobber. And the thing is, nothing has really changed about Sasha. The character hasn't developed, and that's what's going to happen. The allure of her being a great wrestler fades in the matter of time because there's nothing else to fall back on. There's no character to build on. It's just a wrestler losing a match, and there's nothing to fall back on. I mean, when The Rock would lose a match, it didn't matter because he could just save himself with a great promo that can make you forget. And what Sasha's just got, like, it's not going to save anybody. Then we had Enzo talking to the Zoe train. Tony Nese and Drew Gulak are going to be representing the Zoe train in the Fatal 4-Way 205 Cruiserweight match that really nobody wants to see. Nia Jax said, "How you doing?" And man, and the facial expression when he turned around and saw Nia Jax flirting with Enzo. I like that. Now, see, that's interesting TV. Something you don't expect. That's something now you kind of want to see, where does it go? Are they going to develop a little bit of an angle? Imagine we could see some kind of, some like dating angles with Enzo and Nia. It could be funny. You have an opportunity to build off. Nia could, benefit from this because they ain't doing shit with her otherwise. So why not, do, and also, they're not really doing a whole lot with Enzo. They're not really capitalizing. He wasn't even there last week, for example. This is a chance to really build this guy up, build some, storylines for Enzo so he can channel that charisma that he has because it's being wasted. He is, in my opinion, probably the most entertaining thing on the show by far. A couple other people besides that, and really Enzo is the one with the most charisma I look forward to seeing him the most and what he has to say, his promos every week. You know, it's time that he start getting some storylines, something to do on this show. Then you had the fatal four-way with Drew Gulak. At least they picked the most charismatic one. I will admit it was a pretty decent match. Nobody sold anything, but, you know, it's funny that they picked Gulak, probably the safest worker in there, probably the smartest guy out of the bunch. That's probably why they decided to pick him. So next week he's going to be facing off against Rich Kingston or Kofi Swan, whatever you want to call him. I don't really see they look like the same guy. You know what? I know a lot of people are going to make racial comments, but no, it has nothing to do with him being black. These guys look very similar. Very, very fucking similar. They look like the same fucking person. And in wrestling, it's very important to differentiate characters, so not everybody looks the fucking same. Elias came out to the ring to perform. Braun Strowman enters the ring and he goes after Elias. Elias cracked the guitar over his back, which it kind of reminded me of an episode of Raw. It was either Raw or Sunday Night Heat where Jeff Jarrett, cracked the guitar over Kane's head, and Kane just stood there and it had no effect, just no-sold it. It didn't look as good, the guitar shot, but not even fucking close, but, it was pretty good. I like to see Elias using the guitar more as a weapon, because he's like the only guy who uses a guitar. Now that Jeff Jarrett is not around anywhere, so, it's good to see the guitar being used as a weapon. It's just the shots don't look as good. I guess it's like when you put it across the back and to the shoulder, it just doesn't look as good as the head. I mean, I understand we're watching out for concussions, but it just, I got to be honest, it doesn't look as good. Kane gets on the Titantron, and this just makes him look weak. I'm sorry, but, he's just there, up there on the screen, and, why is he not coming out to the ring? He's the monster. They're going to have another match next week. I heard some of the marks booing in the crowd. Fuck them. Asuka defeated Alicia Fox. Absolution came out to the ring. The Vodka Girls came out to the ring. They surround the ring, and Asuka once again smiling like a retard. What is up with the constant smiling? I compared her to, circa 2002 DDP. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but Asuka's not that great. You know what I'm saying? I'm also hearing Joe Cronin, who I don't even listen to on YouTube, but it came up in my recommended video. So I figured, why not give Cronin a listen? Let's see what he's got to say about Edge and Christian's opinion on Asuka. They say they don't get Asuka. They admit that she's talented like I do. A decent wrestler. She doesn't sell. I've talked about her days in NXT at length. But I'm not going to reiterate that here. So, Edge has a different opinion. He says he doesn't get the hype. He's just saying not that Asuka's not good, but that maybe she's not as good. Like maybe overrated. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So this guy Cronin, who has a pretty sizable audience, listenership, he goes on to attack Edge and saying his statement is ridiculous. Oh, how can she be overhyped? Okay, well, the thing is, the fact of the matter, she's not drawing any fans. She's not drawing any money in. So I'm not really seeing why Edge is incorrect in this statement. And it's not even that he's correct or incorrect. It's an opinion. This is what I always argue about with knuckleheads here, goofy maloofis and mama Lukes here in the YWC. Everything I say is an opinion. Everything you say is opinion. There's no facts in wrestling. It's not even fucking real, for God's sakes. So how could Edge be wrong? How could we be attacking Edge? And if anybody knows anything about success and being over, it would be Edge, who was over and who was successful and who was a draw. So, I don't know what Cronin's talking about. But anyway, the Vodka Girls attack Alicia Fox. Anyway, here's my opinion on it. Alicia Fox is 10 times more charismatic and interesting. Instead of just smiling, Alicia Fox can do the smiling too, but she knows how to do the crazy gimmick better. All this one does is, ah! Just screaming and yelling like she's got sort of a mental problem with her, Asuka. She doesn't even talk. She's a mute, for fuck's sakes, probably because she can't speak English. But the thing is, it doesn't make her look like a cool character. Just, just, it's not a good look. Finn Balor defeated Bo Dallas. Okay, Finn Balor is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Okay, I'm not really seeing it here. And it looks like McMahon's wised up how the mighty have fallen, going from SummerSlam main events, facing off for the Universal title, being the first ever Universal Champion, to facing Bo Dallas with no fanfare or anything, just a cold match on the show. And then we had the big moment here. Woken Matt Hardy. Woken Matt Hardy, folks. Now, it was pretty interesting how they did this. I would have preferred to see it in the ring, but they decided to go with a video package. I don't know if this was intended to be like a live promo. It obviously was taped, but I'm not sure what they went for here. But anyway, it was different. I liked it. They had Bray Wyatt talk, then they had Matt Hardy say something, and Matt Hardy was on. So it looks like we're not going with broken, we're going with woken, because it makes sense and it rhymes. It rhymes. Anyway, I don't know. I hear a lot of people already bitching. I had my doubts, but it seems like they're going to go full force. Now, it's not so much how Matt Hardy acts that I'm concerned about. It's how they book him, how they write him into the show. I mean, we had these great little vignettes, these, which were like mini movies, The Leader Decay and The Final Deletion. And what I'm worried about here is that we're not going to get that type of material. It's not even that I'm worried about. I know we're not going to get that type of material. We're going to just get plain old, in the ring promos and up on the Titantron. I'm just hoping that it's quality and they let Matt do kind of what he was doing here, because it was very entertaining. And, I loved how they had the little, laugh off, I thought that was funny. I was cracking up at that, and, it was good. I mean, right now, for me, this and Enzo, this is everything on Raw to me. I mean, it's like the only two good things on the show. Because, you got characters, finally. Characters. Go figure that they would be the most entertaining thing on the show because they're colorful and entertaining. And, of course, Meltzer Magoo trashes Matt Hardy in his latest podcast. Him and Alvarez ripping this apart, saying, oh, it wasn't good, and I don't like how they put the two things together. Stop bitching already. You know what I'm saying? Not even saying anything good about it. Like I said, I would have liked to see it in ring, but am I bitching? Am I tearing apart? No, I'm praising it because it was good, and it was two performers doing what they do best. Two of the best promo guys in the business going at it, one after another, and they did a lot of fun. And I mean, you're gonna really sit there and say you didn't laugh, Meltzer? You're gonna say you didn't laugh during the laugh off? You're not gonna say that was any good? Give me a fucking break, pal. Get out of here with that shit. Come on. You got, you're gonna praise the wrestling matches with Chris moves, but you're not gonna give credit where credit's due when they do a great vignette like that? Please. Then in the main event, you had Sheamus and Cesaro. They got disqualified against Ambrose and Rollins, but Kurt Angle restarted the match. Then Samoa Joe ran in and attacked Ambrose and Rollins. Roman Reigns came in to make the save, but Sheamus managed to get a bro kick in, and they got the win anyway. you know, like, I'm not saying that they don't wrestle well, and I like how they tried to have, you know, the little interaction with the Shield here. Joe tried to get back, so there, you know, there was a little something there. They tried stringing these two stories together, so that was all right. But I mean, my God, how many more? I hope that's the last time we see that match. Come on already. You know, how many times are you going to do Ambrose and Rollins against, you know, Sheamus and Cesaro? We've seen it 20 times on pay-per-view, 50 times on Raw. I mean, enough is enough already. Okay, you know what? They've already beaten them a couple of times. Time to end it already. Enough. Move on. Move on from this shit already. You know, come on. Anyway, guys, there you go. Not a terrible, unbearable show by any means. I mean, the Woken Matt Hardy thing, the Enzo thing backstage was lasted for 2 seconds, and the opener, those were pretty much the highlights for me. Everything else was, you know, like, I mean, but come on, I mean, but the Woken Matt stuff, like I said, but that was like 2 minutes. The best stuff on the show was the shortest stuff, basically. But the opener, you know, took up like a half an hour. But which, you know, but at least it was well used. You know, you had a good match, a good opening promo. So, you know, there you go, guys. But, you know, what are we going to take away from this? Mostly the Woken Matt stuff. That's the stuff that mostly everybody is talking about. And I hope WWE sees that. I hope they see that most of the casual fans and the smarks are liking this. So this shows that if you have some really good shit, not only are the smarks and the casuals going to like your show, you know, so, I mean, you should build off this. Not just say Matt Hardy, give him an hour-long segment, but you should now know that characters are what sells on this show. That's what people want to see. They want to see that charismatic, larger-than-life stuff. That's why the ratings are down. I mean, it's quite obvious. It truly is. You know, why were the ratings so high during Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold and The Rock's era? Probably because they were the most charismatic of all time. So you need to find that charisma once again. And you've got people on the show capable of delivering it. I'm not sure if there's a next Hulk Hogan or a next Macho Man, you know, in this group of current talent, but probably not. But, you know, you could try to get close to that, or at least a little bit, halfway there at least. Make an effort is what I'm saying. I saw little glimmers of effort on this show, and I appreciate that. And I just realized I wasn't even wearing my belt during this review. This has been your YWC champ, signing out.